welcome to another talk here. We're going to work a little bit on octave shapes, and the purpose of that is, or at least the purpose that we're working through is to be able to visualize where root notes are so that we can improvise with that awareness and be able to play anything that relates to an octave. And we can use that. Let's say we're taking A flat here. We're going to use some changes from Donna Lee. And so if you have these octave shapes in mind, if you're improvising, then you might play some chord tones, or you might play something a little outside of that as well. But understanding how it all relates to that that tone is going to be important. All right, so I'm going to do a little playing up front here, just to get us started. So play maybe a couple choruses on Donnelly to get us kind of started. And this is, of course, a podcast, and also there's a video edition for members on the YouTube channel /fretprints, youtube.com/fretprints. All right. Okay, so there's a little bit of kind of improvising. So what I'm kind of proposing that one tries to do with with their practice and just general awareness when soloing is to be able to have a spot where we can think about, let's say, a tone or a root note, and think about what tones are going to kind of fit into that. So let's say something like that. And how does everything relate? So we can sort of visualize an octave shape and think about how everything fits into that. So it could be a higher note than that, or it could fit kind of in the middle or be a little bit below, but we're trying to think about this. So that's the A flat chord. So that's a 1 chord. And then let's say we go to an F. So we say, okay, here's kind of an octave shape, and we can think about a line that sort of maybe fits in that, or notes that might be available or sort of make sense for the context. Okay. And so we find that. So let's go through just maybe a few more changes. So let's say we have next chord, B flat. So then we can think, okay, those are some tones. And how does that relate to it? How does that sound maybe against a chord sort of in the area, right? And then we can use the same octave shape for a new chord quality. So we say it's more of a minor kind of chord. And then E flat 7 can have another octave shape here. So, and just think about the chord quality and even any chromatic tones could be. Chord voicings. Turn down a little bit here. Hopefully I'm coming through okay. So so we get into that. Okay, so let's say we have A flat again. And I'm just going to survey some of these. So it's E flat, so E flat minor. And we can think A flat 7. Or we can think maybe D 7. And then the D flat. So we can use these octave shapes as sort of reference points for our listening and also for our just sort of the visual aspect of patterns on the guitar neck. Okay, so let's say we have these tones, and then the G, let's say G flat. So back to A flat. F, especially chord tones, but in any of the 12 tones. And back to the B flat. And then you think how you want to color that, or maybe you want to play that more like a Lydian dominant sort of sound. Okay, and then getting us back to the 2, 5, and 1. All right. So thinking there about the octave shapes and all that. So I'll take a another bit of a solo. Maybe I'll go a little bit slower. And I'll work through the changes. So I just talked about the A section. Maybe next we'll go over the B section. But and maybe what I'll do is I'll just play over one A section just to kind of summarize what we just talked about there. Oh, I think I just found an issue here, which is not a real problem, but it's sort of a realized what a problem was from earlier. But anyway, back to the topic that has more to do with I think the keyboard sound that I was setting up earlier. So I was wondering why that was not sounding right. I think it's just off by a little bit. Anyway, I'm not playing that right now, but so let's look at playing through, let's say, the A section here. Start us out. So I'm just going to have one measure of kind of drums, but go through it slowly and think a little bit about some of these kind of octave shapes here. Okay, so there I'm playing a little bit through kind of the position that we just talked about a minute ago, and sort of thinking about the kind of underlying octave shapes as we kind of go through there. All right, so the second half of the tune starts out pretty similarly. So we have the A flat. Okay, going to F7 to the B flat. Okay, so let's go through that. So we have okay, so we end up getting to the F minor, the relative minor. We have 5 of the 6. We get a little bit of back and forth motion. So let's fast forward a little bit to that spot. So let's say we have the C7. So here we have an octave shape kind of in the area. And then the F minor, so this time. Okay. And then the C7. So we might do maybe an augmented triad there. Okay. Or we could have just a regular major triad as well. Okay. So we get through that, and then we're gonna start heading over. So you might say B diminished or G7. I'm talking about G7 here. So we can have a flat 9 on that. Okay, so sort of related to that B diminished. And then, so that's going to form our 5 of 3, which is going to form a 2-5. So that we have the C octave shape and then the F octave shape, B flat again, and the E flat. All right. So let me see if I can pick it up about halfway through the form here. And so what I'll do is I'll play primarily through that part of the neck, thinking about those octave shapes to guide and inform what I'm doing. So this is second half of the form. Okay, so there we see the a little bit of how we can use those octave shapes to kind of guide us through and work us through the different positions and things like that. All right, so you can of course use octave shapes to play melodies, and you wouldn't have to move yourself into staying in one position. And as you might get a little bit more involved with this and move around the neck, you just sort of try to think about wherever the shape is. So let's say we're on the A flat again. So if you're over here, you can think on that, or F7, so B flat. So up in this position. And then you can start to really freely move around and work through different positions wherever you're, if you want to go to higher tones up here or lower tones down here, then you have all that access. So let's take an example note and just kind of get a sense for how those tones work out. So we have, let's pick a flat. So we have this. Now we have two octaves in this position and also this position. All right, and then we have this octave shape here, moving up to 9th position now, 11th position, so same two notes. Okay, and then down here, we've come kind of full circle around there. So when you think about these things, you might think about the five positions or basic regions, I like to call them. So we've got this one, 2 octave shapes. So there are 2 octave shapes in that, 2 octave shapes in this one. And you can relate this to the caged method, CAGED, based on the open chords. So this would be kind of like the G shape. Okay. And then this next one, kind of the E shape and the D shape and the C shape and the A. Okay, moving all throughout the neck. So if you could think about that, that's definitely a good start. But you want to be able to assign different types of chord qualities to each one of these based on on what you're doing there. So, all right. So I'm going to wrap up our talk here a little bit, and maybe we'll do another solo. So I'm going to move around pretty freely on the neck, and just kind of work with this theme of playing and sort of visualizing these octave shapes and things. So I'll take the tempo up a little bit. All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for checking out this video and this podcast. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it stimulated some ideas and all that. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you all in the next one.